Hello, welcome everyone. Happy Monday. For some of us it is. For others, we have puppy eyes and yeah.
Aw, puppy eyes. We agree to that.
Yeah, I'm a puffy mess today. So anyway, we have the chefs here, myself, Michael, and Robsy, of course. And then we have the two amazing judges, Zen and Kimberly. And yeah, that's our cast now. We're short, sweet, and to the point. So anyway, you know, I think who picked the Kimberly? You picked the topic tonight. So, um, Rob, if you don't have anything to add before we start, then we'll turn it over to Kimberly so she can explain to us what the topic is and what the criteria is.
Other than my hair and my skin looks red.
It
Oh,
it does,
Always flawless.
you know.
flawless balance.
All right, Kimberly.
I chose childhood favorites. The criteria was one main, one side, and one dessert. So,
Okay.
see what's on.
So, all right. Well, there you go.
I'm ready. Who's
So am
first?
I am so ready for tonight.
Are you?
Alicia, you're up first tonight, and then Michael, and then me.
Ooh, Michael's not last. What?
No, I'm shocked.
What? 2 weeks in a row? What? And he's not last. Oh my
I was
God.
I was last 2 weeks in a row. I can't be last 3 weeks.
That's
Right.
true. That's true. But you know, my boyfriend Chris says 3 is the lucky number. So I guess you're not lucky tonight.
I wasn't lucky 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks either.
I know that feeling, Michael.
Just saying.
Okay. So I'll start. Obviously. So, oh, before we go there, I do want to say, people who are watching, I have had difficulties with seeing comments on YouTube, and I know that last week, um, Michael brought that to my attention after the show, and I was like, really, I didn't see anything. I don't know what happened. So please don't get too mad at me if I didn't read your comments or see your comments, because I don't really know what's going on. But if I can see them or if one of the other people sees them, we will definitely read them on air. So if not, I do apologize. So
This week, there's no place to even leave a comment.
I know, I don't see a place where they can leave it either, so, we do appreciate you guys watching and being with us. If for any reason they pop up or whatever, we'll definitely get them read on the air. I think with tonight's show, what would be really cool, too, and Michael can weigh in on this, and Alicia, and the rest of the people, too, but I think it'd be cool to talk about how we ate a little bit as we and maybe how things have changed, and that even though we may announce our favorites, we may have tweaked them a certain way. Because the fact of the matter is, none of us are kids, maybe kids at heart, but kids eat like kids and adults generally eat like adults. So having said that, I would like to hear a little bit of everybody's past, just how you were raised, how the foods were prepared, how you guys ate. Like, did everyone sit at a table, or was everyone just wherever, and that kind of thing. I think it'd be fun. So, and I think the viewers will enjoy it.
yeah. Okay. So let me start with this is something that my mom always made. It was, yeah, always made. Maybe that's how I ended up so fat. I don't know. I'm just saying. Um, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm not. So what I made was spaghetti, of course, and then my side is the garlic bread. So
Can you hold it up because all the pictures are in the way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's spaghetti with just meat sauce. I actually just did the out the can. We always had out the jar and stuff, and then it's just regular spaghetti. And I made my own. I mean, obviously it's French bread, but I did butter and garlic on it. This isn't something that I would normally eat anymore, just because I don't eat pasta. if I were to do something like this, I would do spaghetti squash, which I do a lot of. I love spaghetti squash. But as far as just like the regular noodles, I don't do. I mean, I can taste it for you, but it's just it's like that. It's just regular spaghetti noodles, meat sauce. We didn't really do like meatballs or anything like that. So, like, I just wanted to keep it true to what we used to eat when we were kids. And this is something that, we did. I'll take a bite.
Mm.
It is really, really good.
It looks good.
But like I said, I don't know. I just have not eaten pasta probably only like once or twice in the last 2 years. It's just not something that I do. Um, And then, of course, now bread and some crispy bread because it is, crispy and um. So I don't usually buy a lot of this kind of bread, but I don't. I made my own garlic butter. I mean, I just basically put the butter, mix garlic in there, and just and then spread it on there. I don't usually buy the garlic bread, the one that already has the garlic and stuff. If I do. So yeah. So anyway, there's my meal, my main and my side.
I have a question on
Yeah.
your garlic butter. Was it like, did you use like fresh garlic and butter, or
Yeah, I use fresh garlic. The minced and then I smashed it some more, so it's like really, yeah.
is it real butter or like stick margarine or?
Yeah, it's just margarine and stuff. But yeah, and then I mix those together and put them on, and I even sprinkled a little bit of extra garlic powder on there, just because I love garlic powder. So that's what I did with that. And then for my dessert, it's something that, I mean, I guess some people would consider a dessert and some people wouldn't, but it's something that we did a lot of. My mom, like, this is something that I totally remember having all the time, is Jello with fruit in it. So this is my Jello, and it's actually a lime Jello, one of my favorites, and I put bananas in it. So yeah,
Always
and
good.
Lime and bananas. That sounds different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
banana too in ours.
yeah. So that's what I made for dessert. Just something simple. It's something that we always had in the, we usually. I mean, my mom. We always had Jello. We always had Jello, and it's kind of like one of those things. I think you either like it or you don't. And I've always loved Jello and stuff. So, and who doesn't like heart Jello, right?
Right.
I love a heart Jello.
Sure.
So yeah, it's something, and I love Jello. And this one I did use a sugar-free Jello because in the house I didn't have like a regular, But either way to me, I don't eat tons of Jello, so it's not something that would be like, oh my gosh, I have to have sugar-free. So this is like basically like this was a go-to thing that we had probably on a weekly basis.
Mhm.
You know, so yeah.
I think it looks good. I think it looks good. And we used to eat Jello with the banana in it too. Usually a red Jello
Yeah,
with banana in it when we had Jello.
yeah,
And I don't blame you for not buying, regular. Of course, sugar-free is better. You can eat the whole thing and not really, be
Yeah.
concerned about, am I going to get sick or is it too much sugar? So that's a good way to, tweak it and make it work for you. And it is hard having pasta in the house. Pasta is good,
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't. The funny thing is that I used to be like I'm a total carb addict. If you know me. And I love pasta. Pasta was like one of my things when I was pregnant with Jordan. That's all I ate was pasta. Like pasta. I had boxes of pastaroni. I was like addicted to pastaroni when I was pregnant with Jordan. Like that was like my go-to. It was cheap too. Like
Yeah.
you could get it on sale for like 50 cents a box. Like it was so cheap. And but now, I've had pasta in the cupboard. We used to eat a lot of like hamburger helper. That was another big one that we used to eat. And I actually, sometimes you have those childhood favorites that you're like, ooh, you see in the store. You're like, oh, because the hamburger helper was another thing that my mom made quite a lot of. Um, but I had actually bought some hamburger helper because my son likes it too, and we never even got around to making it. And I cleaned out my covers the other day, and it was like the expiration was over a year old. So it was like really like, yeah. I have stuff like that in the cupboard, but like we don't eat it. We just don't eat it. We don't make it and stuff. So, um, and to your what you were saying, Rob, about if we sat down, we really didn't like. It was occasionally we sat down, but for the most part, it was kind of a free for all. Like, go get your food, and everyone would just like go
Right.
wherever they.
Kimberly, what about you? What did you think about what Alicia brought tonight?
Actually, I was waiting on Jen to finish up, but then Lisa started talking again. I think it's awesome. It's traditional. Like, I don't know, it just brings back a lot of memories for me too. I'm Italian, and like every Sunday we would have something Italian every Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
We lost her volume.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hello. I made fruit.
We lost your sound again.
Wonder if her hand's up or maybe the microphone.
Nope.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Probably have to put off my face. I'm talking. I made it one time. Tried making it with fruit, and it all sunk to the bottom.
Oh, it keeps doing it. Okay, so yeah, okay, so the thing is with Jello, the way I get it to not sink to the bottom is I make it and I put it in the refrigerator for about an hour. And then once it starts to firm up a little bit, but not completely, then you throw your fruit in there and it won't sink to the bottom.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing, but I like the first time I ever made it sunk to the bottom. I'm like, I'm never making it again because I could never get it to go up. It would always
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah, no, I literally made it like I put the packet, I put like you have to put like really hot water, mix the hell out of it till everything's like, dissolved, and then you put in cold water right away, and then put it in your refrigerator and leave it in. Like I literally left it in for about an hour or so, and then I cut up the fruit. Well, this was fresh bananas. I cut up the fruit and I threw it in there, and I actually had to like push it down with my fingers because it was like up at the top. So, like, literally leave it in there for an hour, let it firm up just a little bit, and then put your fruit in there, and I promise you'll be good to go. But another tip is that if you use things like pineapple, papaya, stuff like that, because it won't set right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say real quick is with that, another thing you can do if you don't have the time to watch it and go back and add it in, instead of putting it in a bowl, which a lot of people do, put it into a 9-inch pie pan, one of the circle ones. Even if the fruit sinks to the bottom, you can cut it as though it's a piece of pie, put it on a plate, and then put a scoop of whipped cream on top of it. It looks absolutely amazing with all the fruit on the bottom and then the layer of Jello with some whipped cream on top. That's another way you can do it if you don't have the time to go back and forth. What I wanted to say to you, Alicia, was being a celebrity chef myself, I wanted to tell you this. I really liked, it really takes you back because when you think of like Jello with fruit in it, because a lot of people will do the mixed fruit, the canned fruit cocktail, and put it in that Jello. But the other thing is that that's totally 70s, 80s, 90s, mid 90s kind of thing where families really did that. And a lot of families did that. And they ate a lot of spaghetti and they ate a lot of pasta and they ate a lot of potatoes. And the reason is because those are filler foods and they go really far for a family that's either low on funds or very large in size. It gets people's belly full. It makes them not as hungry. So those were always things I think that were really popular in families that were either big in size or maybe on a strict budget. So I think it looks really good. The spaghetti looks amazing. The bread looks amazing, and the dough looks good. So
Yeah, it was one of those things because we were a family of there was four of us, and it was one of those things that spaghetti and garlic bread and it went a long way. Like my mom would make a big pot of like spaghetti, and there'd be leftovers for the next day. My mom would take it to work, for lunch, and so it's one of those things that was always like there was plenty of, or next day there would be leftovers for us to eat too. So
and the other thing that's good is if you don't eat it the next day, you can take it the next day, put it
yeah,
into some form of a dish, and turn it into a spaghetti bake. And just put maybe put it into a pan, a bread pan, a pie pan, whatever. Put a little bit of cheese on top of it. Put it in the oven, bake it. It's absolutely amazing that way.
yeah, yeah.
What we did when we were younger, well, I do it now too, is when we have spaghetti or whatever, the next day there's always leftovers, and I throw it in the pan with some butter and I fry it. The kids love fried spaghetti. Like they look forward to the day better than the first day I make it. Like
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I do see, I had to go in a different way, but I do see some comments, so I'm going to read them really quick. Jazzy is watching. She said, "Hi, everyone."
Hey, Jazzy.
Dennis says, "Good evening, everyone." And Jazzy says, "My nan is German, so we had a very full appetite. Lots of butter, lots of potatoes, meat, and vegetables. When I was younger, it was very much meat and vegetables." Tara Turkish said, "Do you guys drink and eat at the same time?" Well, it was something that I always did, like when I was younger, but now I can't say I never do for myself, but trying to 50% of the time follow the bariatric rules. I try not to. If I do, it's usually a sip here or there. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah.
I try not to eat and drink at the same time, but if I do, it's a sip here or there. It's nothing real big.
Yeah. You find that if you
Drink at the same time.
I used to, before surgery, drink every bite. I would practically wash it down. I used to just one bite, wash it down. My mom used to talk so bad about me. But post surgery, it's really pretty much impossible to eat and drink at the same time more than a couple sips just to wet your mouth because it doesn't feel good. It causes a lot of bloating, and I don't know. It's just not a very comfortable feeling. So if you have to kind of pick one or the other and go with that. That's my experience.
I think that if you eat and drink, it kind of like, I don't want to get too, but it pushes it,
Theory,
like,
right? It down.
I think you don't get I think you can eat more if you drink and eat because it kind of pushes it through, and yeah.
Eventually, but at first it's just sort of stuck there. It's all. Ugh.
Yeah. What about you, Kimberly?
I have to have a drink whenever I eat or I get the hiccups.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dennis wants to know, do you ever make your own gravy for your pasta? Well, I don't really eat pasta very much, so no.
I do.
Yeah.
I normally make my own sauce for my pasta, like spaghetti and stuff. I normally make it from scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, but I thought he said gravy. So
I think he means sauce.
Oh,
They call it too sauces. They call sauce gravy sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
I don't. Hold on, Daddy's got to answer this.
Okay.
I don't usually eat pasta at home. I will enjoy pasta outside of the home. Occasionally I'll make it, but it'd be very rare. I tend to eat spaghetti with spaghetti squash, and if I'm making any kind of sauces, it would probably, no, I really don't. I just tend to buy the low sodium kind of sauces and things and go with whatever one I think is best. And I may spruce them up with some of my own spices and stuff. But in general, I don't. It's a time thing, and I just try to make a healthier choice at the grocery store.
Yeah.
There you go.
let's see here. Oh, yeah. Well, and then Tara said about the eat and drinking. She said some do, others don't. My doctor said it's fine, so she wanted to know our thoughts, which we already answered that. Um, Jazzy said she loves sugar-free Jello, and the kids don't even know the difference.
Mm-mm.
No.
My experience that I have found that if you buy sugar-free Jello already made at the store, it tastes nasty. But if you make your own, it tastes exactly the same.
Yeah.
You can't even tell. And then she also said, oh, and speaking about pasta, my nan would cook pasta, then day after fry it in butter and top it with applesauce. Yep, was crazy. Everything I ate.
I've never heard of that.
I know. And then Rebecca Woody says, Alicia, your food looks so good. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I'm sweet. I can be.
Okay.
Okay, Michael, let's not start.
Is it my turn now?
Yes.
It is your turn. It's
Your
Michael's
turn?
turn.
You know, with this whole childhood going back, I mean, it's crazy. I actually went and found a shirt that I wore that I bought at like one of my first concerts I went to, which is it was a Monkees reunion concert in 1987, and I put it on and it fits. So that's kind of freaky to
That's
me.
awesome.
Um,
Do you remember the monkey song?
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember the Monkey song.
Of course.
I do too.
But I do remember. But what I made tonight, in my household, my dad did a lot of the cooking, and my mom did some of the cooking. So this is a dish, a meal that my mom would make, and it is meatloaf, macaroni and cheese,
Mhm.
and black-eyed peas. And every time we had meatloaf, we had macaroni and cheese and black-eyed peas. To this day, if you know, as an adult, I would make meatloaf. I will make black-eyed peas and macaroni and cheese. And the macaroni and cheese is this is how we ate it. This was right out of the box. Um, follow the directions on it, but then we would add like when you're making the cheese sauce part, we would add like slices of cheese to it to make it a little creamier.
Right.
So, and then I always put black pepper on it.
Mhm.
So actually, we're going to be judging on my one side here, the macaroni and cheese, and then my main is the meatloaf. And the meatloaf is just a regular meatloaf with, you know, it's actually half beef, half turkey. I add about a half of a diced onion in there. I do use a powdered meatloaf seasoning along with a canned seasoning because I like it more flavorful. With 2 eggs and a cup of oats per, you know, there's 2 pounds of meat there. Bake it and you know, top it with the other half a can of sauce, and that's it. So that is my dinner. That's my dinner. And you know, we talking about our childhood. It made you know going through this past week, thinking about it. My dad started a business in the early '80s, a machine shop business, and if back then the economy was not the best, the oil industry wasn't good, so money was low. But I'd never remember not eating well. We ate a lot of home cooked meals because it was cheaper. We ate a lot of spaghetti. We ate a lot of what we called hamburger meat and noodles, which was all homemade, no box, you know, hamburger helper or whatever. Meatloaf. I remember eating a lot of sirloin steaks because they would get a whole sirloin on sale, and they would have the butcher slice it up. I never remember not eating good, but I always remember, and talking to my mom this past week, money was always tight. because he was self-employed, and I know the feeling. So now a dessert. My dessert tonight is something my mama would make, and she's excellent at it. But I took my attempt to it. Banana pudding.
Banana pudding.
Yeah.
Banana pudding, and it's made a little different. This is regular instant pudding. Instead of milk, she would use half and half, and then you mix that in the mixer until it's almost set, and then you would put in a half of a container of Cool Whip, mix that up, and then of course you layer your bananas and your vanilla wafers, and then you pour the pudding over it and let it set in the refrigerator for a long time, and then it's ready. And because life's uncertain, I'm going to eat dessert first. And,
I love that, Michael.
that's something my aunt says all the time. Life's uncertain. Eat dessert first. So, I mean, this is
That's it.
So,
If you're gonna go, you might as well go on dessert, right? That's how I. Yeah, I like your attitude.
But for like desserts, we would always have a banana pudding, strawberry shortcake, or oatmeal cookies. I mean, my mom would make oatmeal cookies almost every week. We always had oatmeal cookies in the house. And she would make them because it was actually cheaper to make them than buy them. So that's my meal, and a little bit how we ate growing up. I mean, we ate good. I mean, we hardly ever ate out because money was always tight. And
well, eating at home is probably better tasting too. You know?
Always. And
we didn't.
The love of cooking is from my mom and dad, because I was always in the kitchen helping. So.
Yeah, we didn't eat out a lot either. It was a lot of was at home. Like if you ate out, that was a special treat, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But here it is one more time, and
one more time. Oh no, looks so good.
Here's the meatloaf, nice, and it's not mushy. It's really firm. And I know. God,
Okay.
just bring back the memories.
Yes, I bet.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, let me go through the comments really quick. Madison Page said, "Bah ha 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 ha." And then Rebecca Woody said, "Michael, I love making meatloaf because the next day I'd make meatloaf sandwiches. Those are so good."
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Madison said, "I want some banana pudding."
Yes.
So, Michael, there you go. And then Dennis said, "I know what I'll be eating when I'm in Houston next week, or next weekend." So.
I'm gonna be cooking for you, Dennis.
Awesome.
You better eat it too, at least a little bit, right?
Yeah. And then Jazzy said, "Now being an adult, I do not cook like my nan did. I do cook a few German dishes to eat out, and then to eat out was once a week." So, I think people eat out so much now, way more than they used to.
I know I do.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm kind of to that point where I look at how much I used to spend eating out, as an adult, even before my surgery, and think about how much money I could save from, just from eating out.
Michael, how long does it take to cook your meatloaf, and what temperature do you cook it on?
I cook it at 400 degrees for an hour, and then I pull it out, put the rest of the sauce on top, and it's in there for another 10 to 15 minutes.
And is there cheese in it? It looked like there was something yellow in it.
Right.
That might be the onions that you see in there.
Oh, probably. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's cooked in a regular loaf pan, a 5x9 loaf pan.
And so
Looks
all of it
amazing.
looked excellent. It looked excellent, Michael.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love meatloaf, and I have made meatloaf for many, many years. I haven't made it that much post-op, but I do make meatballs, which is the same concept. When I used to make meatloaf, I would use the beef, pork, and one other thing. I can't remember what it was that I would use back in the day when I would make meatloaf all the time in college. But I made it very similar, where I would add the breadcrumbs or the oatmeal or the oats for the filler, and then a couple of eggs, and then always Italian seasoning. I would use the whole onion and a lot of garlic, and add, you can add if you want to, or pieces of it, sections, whatever. Some people put peppers in it too. I've never put peppers in it, but that might be interesting. Put some jalapeno in the meatloaf.
Ooh, chop up some bacon and throw in the meatloaf too. Now
Oh,
that would
there
be
you go.
Bacon on top, Michael. Bacon on top underneath that sauce.
Yeah, Michael, wrap
Wrap.
the bacon around it.
Yeah, you could make like a lattice of bacon for the top, where you could
Right.
weave the bacon. Have that lattice top on there.
I'm making. I might make meatloaf again this week.
Yeah, and banana pudding, I got to tell you, it is a weakness. I've never made it, but I have eaten it. A friend of mine used to make it from scratch at work, so every time there was a company function, I would get 1 cup or maybe 2 cups of banana pudding and run back to my desk and scarf it down. But did you use regular pudding, or use the one with sugar, or with it without?
I use the regular instant pudding, just like my mama makes.
Yeah, you were going for authenticity.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. And I think the black eyed peas are good too. It's an interesting thing. I don't have them too often, but I do like them, and they are kind of fun. They make everything kind of like special. It's a New Year's dish.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you how I make my black eyed peas, even though it's not part of the deal. It's just a can of black eyed peas, and I add some onion to it, and then I go to the fridge and I take me a big scoop of bacon grease out of the fridge and plop off into it, and just let it simmer for about 15-20 minutes until the onions are cooked.
Oh, okay.
That's it. I mean, so it has that bacony onion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be good with a ham hock too, or a smoked turkey wing in
Yes.
the pot for a while with the beans and a few other veggies thrown in there just for fun.
As a kid, I would like drench it with ketchup.
Oh, ooh.
Not anymore. I don't.
I know kids do that.
Mhm.
There's a couple things I like. 2 different things of meatloaf. One of them I've tried, and one of them I haven't. And being that I live alone, I really don't make a meatloaf because that would be a lot of food. But I know a lot of people will take the meatloaf, and after they roll it into the shape they want, they kind of part it in the middle, and they'll put hard-boiled eggs in there, and then put meat over the top and bake it. So when you cut your meatloaf, there is a ring of egg in the middle, because it's a hard-boiled egg, so it just cuts with it. It's actually really, really tastes amazing. A lot of people in Australia and in England will do those kinds of things. And the other thing is that when you make the meatloaf, if you hollow out the middle and make it like a dish, so to say, and then fill it with macaroni and cheese that is already made, and then cover it up and bake the meatloaf, and then when you cut it, the macaroni and cheese is already baked into the meatloaf. I have not tried that, but it looks amazing.
Hold on, I got something for you, Rob.
It looks amazing.
Oh my goodness.
He needs to hurry. Daddy's got to eat.
I know, right?
Well, look, I was just going to show you. This is the size meatloaf pan you need. See, this is like a single or double serving size. It's really small.
Well, I was going to suggest to him too. He can make his meatloaf up and then put it in like the cupcake tins, and then bake it and then freeze it.
But you could do this one of these if you didn't want to eat it day after day, and this would probably be enough for you. You could make 2 of them, and you could have one another day, or make one with the egg and one with the macaroni. Yeah. But you got to, just saying. This is just a show for childhood memories. You don't want to be going on the macaroni now.
Okay. So, is it my turn or no, Alicia?
Not quite yet. Kimberly,
Okay.
you have any comments?
Yeah, I actually never heard of when you said oats. I've never meatloaf made with oats before. I've
Yeah, just
never.
like the quick oats, like oatmeal quick oats. Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of using crackers or
Right.
something.
That's
Uh-huh.
what I'm used to.
Understood.
The crackers and the breadcrumbs. I've never heard of oats before ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oats is a good filler for that too. They're both good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah,
We have
good.
a couple more comments. Dennis said he'll eat anything that you make, that you're a really great cook. Um, well, he says you're a great cook. I mean, he hasn't actually tasted it yet,
No,
so
Right?
you could say you're a great cook, and you could be, but it could turn out that you're not. So
no.
It remains to be seen.
After the weekend that he comes, he'll have to come back on the and report through the comments on the next show.
yeah,
Good, how
Right?
amazing Michael really is.
okay.
Exactly.
So
We are
remember that, Dennis. You're gonna have to come back and tell us how his cooking really is. Um, Rebecca said, I put I put breadcrumbs and eggs and peppers in my meatloaf, and when it's done forming, I add ketchup to it.
Mhm.
So, and then Dennis said, I would also add breadcrumbs, eggs, and some Parmesan cheese, then mix it all together with the seasonings. We use veal and beef for the meat mix.
Oh, okay. That must have been what the meat mix was: veal, beef, and pork that I used to buy because you could buy it that way.
Mhm.
Have you ever seen those meatloaf things? I don't see them anymore at the
Yeah,
market.
I've seen them a couple times where you can actually buy the meatloaf mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the meats, the separate meats, and I always thought it tasted excellent too. So I don't know
Yeah.
why I don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so if there's no more questions or comments for Michael,
No bite, no bite, bite.
Oh yeah,
Chef Daddy over there is
I want
like,
that bread pudding, Michael.
Okay.
I'll,
okay.
I'll feed you a bite, Rob.
Thank you.
Go. All right, so Robsy, let's see what you got over there.
Come on,
Okay. So my family, we grew up on a farm, and we raised pigs, and we had some cows and chickens, and so people that did the work. We didn't do a lot of the farming and stuff ourselves, but we all had responsibilities, so to say. And that was after the farm got bigger that we had all the help and everything. But so we had cherry trees, apple trees, orange trees, you name it, we had them. We had all these fruits and vegetables. We had a huge garden that we planted. But as a kid, the things I liked was like pizza, fish sticks, chicken nuggets, macaroni and cheese, those kinds of things. I mean, my mom made pot roast, she made spaghetti, she made all the things that you make for a really big family when you're feeding a bunch of people to keep the cost down, because there was 8 of us. There was 6 kids and my mom and dad. So, that's what we did. So tonight what I wanted to make was I wanted to make something close or something that would resemble what I had. So normally this would have been chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese or fries, but I did substitute out the macaroni and cheese or fries because, again, if I buy stuff like that and make it, being a food addict who's been binge-free for over 2 years, there is a good chance that I could sit down and eat that whole thing. And while trying to follow theme, it's not a position I'm going to put myself in with those kinds of things. So I opted to go with some homemade chicken nuggets that I made here, and I'm going to tell you guys about these. That's 5 ounces of chicken, okay? And then the mix that's on the chicken is organic wheat flour, flanco, and Parmesan cheese. Not the ones in the can, that's the one you would get from the deli or you buy in a glass jar. And then I just did some broccoli with tomatoes because that's 2 of my favorite things now. Now, would I rather have a big mound of macaroni and cheese on this plate? You bet your butt I'd rather have that. But it doesn't fit into really how I'm trying to change my eating habits and things like that at the position I'm in, because you guys got to remember, I'm dealing with like a 70-pound regain. So I'm really trying hard to focus. But I want to cut one of these and just show you guys what they look like on the inside. It's just a piece of chicken that's coated, and you just take the coating. Michael's gonna eat it. Here we go. So The bottom of them are absolutely amazing, and what makes it crust up like that is the Parmesan cheese that's on there. Again, this has a total of 9.2 carbs in it because there's not a lot of carbs in the breading. It's not really, really thick breading. As you can see, the breading does not go, really thick all around the chicken. And you just take the chicken and cut it into pieces. You can dip it in egg. I tend to do that just because the breading will stick a little bit more and don't really fall off as much when you're baking. But it's just those simple ingredients, and I did put some parsley in there to make it all go together. Then you put those in the oven. You put them in a cooking dish. I used a pie pan for this particular one, a glass pie dish. I sprayed the bottom of it. I put these in. You cook them at 400 for about 14 minutes. You do not have to flip them. You do not have to turn them. You don't have to do anything like that with them at all. They're just going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm excited to eat these. My mom necessarily didn't make, once in a while she would make homemade chicken nuggets, but usually they were store-bought out of a huge bag. Again, you're talking about feeding 6 kids. It can get very, very costly. So there's a lot of filler foods and things, but we also have all the things you reap from the harvest, the different things that you have living on a farm, digging up your own potatoes, kohlrabi's, carrots, tomatoes, all kinds of melons and things. And then I just have some broccoli that I bought. It was fresh. I steamed it. The broccoli is cooked, and the tomatoes are not. I don't like them that way. A lot of times growing up, what I would do is go and just go out and pick a tomato off of the vine and wipe it off on our shirt and bite into it like an apple and put salt on it and just eat it. We do the same thing sometimes with watermelons. So those were a couple things we did. So again, that's what they look like, you guys. They're absolutely amazing. They have such great taste to them. I've already had one, but they're really, really good. So I did that. And then for dessert, again, we did things that were cost effective. Now, after my 4 older brothers and sisters got out of the house, my mom and dad would tend to take me and my sister that's closest to me in age out. We go out for dinner a little bit more. So what my mom would do is she would use things that we had in the house. Like we always had peanut butter. We always had like some fudge mix or some Hershey's chocolate in the refrigerator, and like biscuits and things like that. So my mom would make like a honey biscuit and then take and cut it in the middle. We'd put some peanut butter on it, and then she would put some chocolate over the top, and it was just absolutely amazing. Now, I did mine just a little bit different because I wanted to play around with it, but this is the same thing. This is a honey biscuit, okay, and it is actually layered. It's in 5 different pieces. You can either pick it out, you can pull it apart while you are, before you cook it or after you cook it. It will pull apart. They're just the Pillsbury honey biscuits. And then in between there is peanut butter. I'm going to cut this so you guys can see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, because I did layer it. So that's what it's going to look like on the inside. And there's just a little bit of peanut butter, and you just smear it on with a spoon. And then when you're all done, you can just drizzle the chocolate over the top. Now, keeping in mind, I don't have chocolate in my house. So what I did, you guys, was I took one of the yogurts. Alicia had talked about these, the yogurt with the chocolate on top. And I took the chocolate off of that and poured it onto the top of this because it's separated from the yogurt. So I didn't use like a Hershey syrup or anything like that. I just used the chocolate that would come on the top of that light and fit yogurt. And then that is a natural peanut butter that I have, a Jif to go single, and one of those. It's not a full one. So, but that's what it looks like, and these are absolutely amazing. And we used to eat them growing up. Like I said, my mom didn't pull them all apart and bake them. Again, she was baking mass quantities of stuff. But I want to make it fun and exciting, so I decided to do that. I'm going to taste this. I ain't even going to lie, this is going to be good.
Looks good.
Oh, I love something.
So, again, there's the dessert. Okay? And then here is the dinner. Okay?
Okay.
So,
Apparently Kimberly dropped off or something, so
hopefully she can get back on.
Oh my
So,
God.
that's what I have.
that looks really good.
It does. Should I comment?
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, oh, Robsy, I think it looks amazing. Totally impressed with the chicken nuggets. When you first said chicken nuggets, I wasn't sure what I was going to be seeing. I'm not a big fan of processed food chicken nuggets at all, you know, even though my kids ate a fair share before I became educated. But those looked amazing, and I love the idea of the Parmesan cheese and the crusting, and that they're not too thick. There's not too many carbs. You know, I'm a carb. I love carbs, but I have to hate them because they don't like me.
Right.
So, and your biscuit idea. We ate those biscuits that you pull apart for years when I grew up. And every like dinner, not every day, but every time there was something to have biscuits with, that's the kind of biscuits that we have. And my mom would always, the kind you peel off the outer thing and then you have to bang it on the counter to
Right.
like make it go pop. She was afraid of the pop, and she would
Right.
always make me bang it on the counter because she hated that boom. It just made her freak out. So I just that's a fun memory. I haven't thought about those in years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And wow,
Hey, Rob, can you lift up your plate again so that Kimberly, in case she didn't get a chance to see it all?
Sure, it's chicken nuggets with broccoli and some tomatoes. The broccoli is steamed. The chicken nuggets I made homemade and breaded with the breading that I made. And when I put the organic wheat flour in there, I just went to Sprouts and bought enough for the recipe. I don't really do a lot of things, and to be honest with you, if I make a breading and put it on top of a fish or something, I honestly usually use shake and bake because the sodium is not too high. It's actually a reasonable amount of sodium, and it's a lot less carbs than planko and breadcrumbs would have in it. But it's an amazing way to coat anything you want to. Now, when I fish, I usually use the pork flavor, and you really, I mean, you can't taste it. You're tasting the fish and you're tasting the other stuff. But that's the one I have found works the best as far as the shake and bake. And I usually buy the Walmart brand because it's cheaper and it serves the same purpose, and the fats are identical to shake and bake. So that's what I like to use to usually bread things. With this, I did use the Blanco bread crumbs because I didn't know how well or how appealing they would look if I would have went with the shake and bake. And since I was doing a presentation, I obviously went for the look also. If I was making them at home, I wouldn't have went out and bought that extra stuff. I would have just simply took it, and you don't even have to use a fork, you guys. These are still kid friendly. I mean, you could still just pick it up and take a bite out of it. So
amazing.
They look amazing.
Yeah.
I have a comment that came in from Rosemary, guys, and she sent it to me on my phone via Messenger. So she wants to say that everything looked amazing, and she is just drooling over the desserts out there, and she couldn't comment because she's on her phone. So she wanted to say hi to everybody, and
Hey.
totally impressed. So
you guys can see the layers there now.
Yes. Rob,
Rob,
look at it no more.
Love it.
it's rough looking at that. And I'm sorry, Kimberly, I just have to say one more thing.
It's okay.
Rob, I'm very proud of you for not heaping that plate with macaroni and cheese, knowing what you are going through right now, and, what you're facing. And this is the thing is, guys, we all have to do what we have to do. And, I understand following the theme and all that, but you got to be realistic. If you bring that stuff in your house, it is hard not to eat it.
Well, see, and I want to say with Michael making mac and cheese, he has a huge family. If I was at Michael's house, I would sit down and eat exactly what he made tonight. But guess what? I'm not going to eat a whole pan of macaroni and cheese in front of Michael or any of his family. But if I'm at my house, it's a whole different ballgame. And I think a lot of us have been in that position. And so I love the fact that Michael stayed with tradition and that he showed that macaroni and cheese. And I'm not saying I didn't have the strength. I just can't test myself because Daddy can tear up the macaroni and cheese. I ain't even going to lie. But if I was at Michael's house, I'd be having meatloaf and mac and cheese and throwing down.
Well, Rob, I have a question. I know you have that weakness if you made like a whole big pan or whole box of mac and cheese. Have you tried the individual servings of mac and cheese?
I never have. That would be a good idea. I've just never tried that.
I'll tell you, they're really good and they're quick and simple, and it's pretty much you pull it open, you take the cheese packet out, you fill it up to the water, you pop it in the microwave for like 2 minutes, and then the noodles are cooked, and then you add the cheese powder to it and stir it up, and it's done. And it's one portion, and that's all it is in that container.
And
Cooked. One portion.
are they just with the regular macaroni and cheese?
Yes.
Yeah, they're just like
cheese, and they're like four. There's like 4 in a package, or you can buy one at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to go onesie.
Yeah.
Buy one at a time.
Right.
They have, I buy for my son because he loves those things, and I don't really, and it's just easy for him. I mean, I know he's 19, but he's still my baby,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I buy him those, the macaroni and cheese, but he also likes the Velveeta shells and cheese. They have those ones also, so,
Slow that down.
yeah.
Yeah.
They have the individual ones of those too. So I usually buy him both, and yeah.
So there's your portion control, Rob, where you don't have to make a whole box, but you still get to have mac and cheese.
I will definitely have to look into that.
Yeah. For me though, Michael, I know you can eat this stuff and it's not affecting you, but for me, if I eat something like that, even one portion, that's going to make me want something else. So whether I have that in the house and only have one portion, I'm going to go looking for something else after that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you right now.
It opens the door for me, and it's like, oh Lord, you know.
And I am struggling with a 19-pound regain in a month.
But Michael, you is thin, bro. So it isn't like you tipping the scales now. Let's get real.
But gaining 19 pounds in 1 month, I need to evaluate what I'm eating.
But
Yeah.
I think that, Kimberly, we'll get to you in just 1 second. I just want to say, I think that there's a difference between, like, you know, and Michael, I know that you've lost a lot of weight and you're thin, but I think that there's, and I'm not, it's nothing against you. I'm just saying there's a difference when you're thin and people are like, oh my God, you're so thin, you need to eat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between that and feeling like you're healthy.
Right.
You know, and I think that that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that is, yeah, because we can all look at you and say, my gosh, Michael, you're thin, but, like, there's a difference. Because I know, because my son and my boyfriend, they both deal with, they're very thin. Chris is 140 pounds and Jordan is 150 pounds. And, you know, and they're thin. Now, are they healthy? I don't think so. I don't think they're healthy, but they are very thin. So, you know, I think it's a difference. Like, for me, eating, like, having a small serving of something, I won't obsess about stuff. But if I sit here and say, I can't have that because not even a serving, then I will, like, totally obsess about.
Exactly. That's what I have done throughout this whole journey, and I've talked about it. You know, I will not deprive myself of anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, over the past month and a half, I've kind of indulged 19 pounds worth too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kimberly, do you have any comments, questions?
Rob, I had to go out and come back on because I couldn't see you. I heard you. I heard everything you were saying, but I couldn't see your food or anything, and I didn't think that was fair. You know what I mean? I felt like I couldn't judge without seeing it, so I had to cut out and go back in. The one thing I did miss, though, was your dessert. Could you, like, tell me what you put in it? I'm
Sure.
sorry,
Okay,
Michael. I'm so sorry.
So this dessert is like a honey Pillsbury biscuit. Okay, it comes in the can with 8. I actually made this one and gave the rest of the pack to my best friend Dana because him and his husband and a roommate that they have now, a friend of ours that just moved here, will eat them. It's not really, the biscuits aren't something I would go crazy on. I could have frozen, but again, I'm really needing to focus on a certain area of eating that I'm trying to change in my life. So then what you do is you can either bake it and then pull them apart into layers, or you can pull it apart raw, which is a little bit harder, and put it into the pie dish or your baking dish individually and bake them. Okay, I bake it for about 11 minutes, and I pull mine apart after I bake it. And you can see the layers. So you just pull them apart, and then what I did was I used 3/4 of a Jif to go single serving peanut butter. I spread a little bit. As you can see from there, there's only a very little bit of peanut butter between the layers. And then I just take and I heat the rest of it, and I drizzle it with a spoon over the top. And then you can use chocolate syrup or whatever you have. Now, I didn't have any and I didn't buy any. What I had done is seen a video Alicia made, and she had bought these new yogurts that were out called Fit and Sing. What's it called? Light and Fit?
Yeah, it's
No.
chocolate on top.
Light
Yeah.
and Fit chocolate on top. And all I did was open it and take the chocolate sauce and pour it off of the top of the yogurt onto here to give it that effect. So it's actually the chocolate off of the top of a yogurt, and that's just what it looks like.
It looks
And
amazing.
it's not honestly. There's not a lot of any one thing. I mean, the biscuit is 90 calories. There's carbs in there. Obviously, it's a dessert. I got the low-fat one, and then the peanut butter is the Jif Naturals, which really there's no difference in the calories between the original and the natural. I just think there's less sodium from the way that I looked at the ingredients pack. And then obviously the chocolate is probably nothing because it comes from a yogurt that totals 100 calories for the whole thing of yogurt. So that's what it is, and it's absolutely amazing. Let me take a bite on air.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Poor Michael. He can't even look at it.
Okay, so I'm done.
Okay, so while Zen and Kimberly, while you figure out who your pick is, I'm gonna go over a few more comments. So make sure you send me your decision. So let's see here. Where did I end? Okay, so Jazzy actually said, in my meatloaf, I put frozen peas and corn, grated carrots, eggs, little breadcrumbs, some Italian herbs, tomato, pasta. Oh, and by the way, I'm so making meatloaf this week. I keep forgetting about meatloaf. So, Christy is watching. She says, "Love what everyone is making, and I miss you guys. We miss you too, Christy." And then Rebecca wants to know, Rob, what kind of chicken do you use?
Okay, this chicken was organic grass-fed chicken. I got this at Kroger, and I was able just to get one chicken breast. I'm not really eating a lot of meat products. I'm following more of a pescatarian diet right now, which is fish. So I'm trying to do a 95-5 split. So I will have things occasionally here and there. This was something that I wanted to make tonight. Going forward in the future, it's probably not a choice that something that I would have decided to make under the new way that I'm trying to follow. But every once in a while, I may have a couple sausage links for breakfast or a couple slices of bacon, but it will be when I go out. I'm not going to be bringing those things into my home anymore. So
okay.
It's very important to me to get to where I want to be health-wise and really achieve that. And I have a long road ahead of me, but I'm going to be able to do that. And adjusting my dietary intake in the way that I want to follow my health journey is that particular way of eating is just something that I've decided I want to do. So I'm excited about that.
You got this.
And then Jazzy said, "Holy crap, that dessert is amazing." So.
Oh, thank you.
Once again. Anna said, "Just got in, but everyone looks great tonight." And then she said, Hey, Michael, love that monkey shirt."
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we appreciate everyone's comments, and I hope I got everyone's comments, and if I didn't, I'm so sorry. I tried to get to everyone's that I saw. So, yeah, but, let's see.
After they say who they are, we got to remember Zen's got to announce what next week's theme is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to forget that.
Ooh.
Okay. So let's start with Zen. Zen, who do you pick this week?
Okay, this was a very tough week because I think that all of the dishes were amazing. I think that everything represented our childhood pretty much, you know, with a lot of authenticity with everyone's dishes. I loved all of them really, really, really a lot. That saying, I chose Rob tonight because I am very impressed with his chicken nuggets. That is something that I would definitely definitely try, and it's something that I could use in my everyday life today, you know, for my kids or even grown-up kids would like those. Not having too much breading. I'm anti-breading, but I love just the little crispy, you know, that makes and with the what do you call the Parmesan cheese, oh, that I'm a Parmesan cheese addict. And his dessert today blew me away. I love this veggie, but I love the dessert more than anything. The dessert was very non-traditional. It was very creative, and it is something that somebody who has a big family could use to, you know, you could turn that biscuit into a strawberry shortcake. You could turn that biscuit into, you know, a peanut butter chocolate delight or a marshmallow peanut butter delight, or you know, anything that you want to put together, honey and peanut butter. You could do a lot of things with that, and you were really creative in your, you know, your assembly of that, and just wanted to give you a thumbs up tonight.
Thank you.
Yay. Okay, so Kimberly, who is your choose pick, whatever, for tonight?
Before I say that, I want to, you know, tell everybody that everything was great. Like Zen said, everything was amazing. Straight on. I learned a little different with Michael tonight and with Rob. You know, the biscuit thing was amazing. It looks like it would taste like a little Reese cup. You know, I mean, that's what I think it would taste like. And I love Reese cups, and they're bad for me, and I have to stay away from them. That's what it reminded me of. And Michael's, the oat thing gets me. I've never really, I mean, I don't know, it just gets me. That I've never heard of it. I'm going to try it. Like, that's probably what we're going to have for dinner tomorrow, and I will have to let you guys know what I think of it.
Yeah.
But
video. You could totally do a video.
The cook, y'all are the cooks. But I chose Alicia, and I chose Alicia because of her dinner made me feel like a little kid. Like, it brought me back to when I was little, you know, because of the Italian in me, I guess. I don't know. You know, it brought me back to when I was little. And the Jell-O I thought was cute because just, you know, what I was telling you about the story. I can't never make Jell-O right, or, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm still nervous, so you guys got to give me a minute. I have diarrhea of the mouth. I ramble when I'm nervous.
It's okay.
But yeah, I chose her because, like I said, you know, for the originality, it's just a major throwback for me, and it was really cool, and it looked really good. So
it was, and you know, thank you so much. And I actually, I don't know if in between, but I called my son in here, and I said, here, because I didn't make a lot of spaghetti. I just made like very little, and my son can throw down on some spaghetti. Let me just say that. So I called him in here, and I was like, here, you want it? And he's like, yeah, I do. So I actually took that one bite, and then I gave him the rest. So, like I said, it's not something that I normally eat. It is one of my favorites. But I think, like, once you have surgery, you'll find out. Like, if you have surgery, you know, people who've had surgery, I don't know. I can't speak for Michael and Zen, but I can speak for myself that my taste buds have definitely changed a lot. Stuff that I used to love is like, it's okay, you know. But spaghetti is one thing that I love, and I actually had to, like, I would have sat here and picked at it, you know, until it was gone. So I had to, like, pass it along to my son, which is fine, too, because he can eat it and stuff. But, yeah, but thank you so much. It was
you're welcome.
One of those things I think everyone kind of like. Spaghetti, it's just,
you know, spaghetti.
Yeah.
I have a question though, for everybody, because I'm sure every one of you guys know what it is, and I feel really dumb right now. But I've never heard of it. What is spaghetti squash?
Oh, I have one I'll show you. It is actually a squash that when you bake it, the inner part of the squash turns into strands when you go across it with a fork, and it creates a spaghetti-like noodle.
Yeah, and
So let
it's
me try
really
squash.
it's really good. And when you add spaghetti sauce and the meat and stuff, it like I don't know. To me, it's really good. I actually like it more than regular spaghetti.
Yeah.
Here's the squash, and this one is kind of big. There's small. There's smaller ones and bigger ones, and this is. You can just punch a few holes in it and put it on a cookie sheet and bake it for 40 minutes or so in your oven. Or you can cut it in half if you dare deal with the blade of a huge knife. Cut it in half and take the seeds out first and the goo, the squash goo, and then just put it on both sides down, face down on the cookie sheet and bake it that way. So you have two choices. I learned the easy cheater's way of punching the holes.
I punched the holes.
And I have used it, and actually it's just amazing. Now, of course, one time I did not go to the beep, and I burned it, but because I was working. But usually I just go to the timer when it goes off and pull it out, and it's ready. All you take is a fork and, just go.
You shred.
You just take the fork and you can just either like
It goes into
pull it
stringing.
out. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
straight.
you just-
Wow, I'm definitely gonna have to try that.
Oh yeah, it's very, very good.
to me, it has a very buttery taste.
Yeah, it's very.
And everyone in the house loves it here.
Yeah.
And the kids.
It's hard not to like
it has a very buttery taste to it to me.
Yeah, it's good with Parmesan and butter, herbs, or you put the spaghetti sauce or Alfredo, whatever you want on there.
If you cut it and gut it first, cut it long ways. And
Long
then you
Anyways.
gut out.
Right.
It's kind of like a pumpkin, so to say. It's going to have seeds and stuff in there. And you just gut that out. And then I usually take butter or olive oil and I just rub it on the open part of it and put it face down on the oven in the oven and bake it. And then I take it out and I let it set, and then I just take a fork, like they were saying, and go through and pull it all out. I like to strain mine a little bit because it can be a little bit liquidy.
Okay.
And when you're putting the tomato sauce and stuff on, I like it to be warm, but I like it to be a little dry. I don't like it to be, because I've had it before where I didn't strain it or put it onto like napkins and stuff, or a towel that's clean that you wash when you're done. And there was some pooling at the bottom of the plate, and that's kind of no fun. So just a couple helpful hints there. Any way you do it, it's going to be good. It doesn't matter.
I've always like cut it in half long ways and stuff, and
So
usually I get Chris to do it. I'm like, here, use your strength, and then he's like trying, and then I have to be like, move over. I'm stronger than you are, so I have to like cut that in half.
Or a saber sword.
Yeah, just whoosh. No, but it's
I'll put the top in and then slam it onto the floor while the knife is in it, and that will split it. I just take the whole squash with the knife in the top and go bam onto the floor. It goes right now.
just cut that squash when you're pissed at your kids, and you'll get right through it.
You get right to it. Yeah.
Just so before we go, before Zen actually tells us what's on for next week, I want to say that Anna said that spaghetti squash is awesome. She said I never heard of it until Alicia made it or Allie made it one day. So thanks for introducing and sharing that long ago. Which I was very much a newbie to the whole spaghetti squash, but it is really yummy. And what I love too is that for me, carbs give me this like ucky feeling in my stomach, like too many carbs, and you don't get that carb feeling, and you feel like you can have spaghetti, and it's just really good. You can use it for any kind of pasta. So, anyway, Zen, what do you have for us next week?
Okay, I chose the theme of pizza. Now, with that, I'm a health conscious fool. So I am going to mandate that there will be no bread used in the crust. The crust can be anything but traditional. So it could be a bread-like substance. It could be non-bread, but it cannot be just your traditional pizza crust that you go and buy, okay? No.
So pizza without the traditional crust, substitute the crust into something else.
Into something else, and if you can't figure out something to do that is not bread, then I guess you're going to have to find something else and get disqualified.
I got you.
Yeah.
I will get a point next week.
Okay, and for your toppings, it would be nice if you include at least 2 vegetables other than tomato sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? You don't have to make your own tomato sauce, but if you're going to use tomato sauce and you're not going to make a white pizza or whatever, and any kind will work, but try to use at least 2 vegetables.
Okay.
And it can be friendly vegetables or ones you have not tried, and extra points for ones you have not tried.
That sounds good. So, all right.
Have fun with that, y'all.
Yeah, no, it does sound good. So, thank you, everyone. And any last words?
Bye.
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 Good. We're ready for
All
next
right,
week.
guys. We will see you next week, same time, same place, and I'll get these ladies and gentlemen under control once again, or I'll try to. I don't know, you know. I'll try to. I can't promise anything with Michael, but you know, I mean, he's our wingman over there, so I don't know.
I don't know either.
Michael, you made us go over. You made us go over.
Only by 17 minutes? That ain't bad.
And it's all good. It's all good.
All right. Well, we will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.